there, and welcome to Labour Media. Among the list of core texts we Marxists like to ambush those we wish to recruit with are many great works of theory, but one that is of high importance, yes, less talked about, is the three sources and three component parts of Marxism by famed giga-chad Vladimir Lenin. Dedicated to the 30th anniversary of Marx's death, this piece not only explores the pillars that compose Marxism, those being materialist philosophy, critique of political economy, and scientific socialism, but the sources from which those pillars/component parts are the natural extension of German philosophy, English political economy, and French socialism respectively. It's a relatively short work, so it's relatively easy to condense into a video such as this. This video will explain this article in an audio-visual fashion, with perhaps some extra notes along the way. I highly recommend reading the article itself, as it will be linked in the description, but while you're here, let's get a move on without any further ado. In this first pillar, Lenin states that the philosophy of Marxism is materialism, or aptly, dialectical and historical materialism. This core tenet comes from German philosophy, mixing elements of Hegelian dialectic and Ludwig Feuerbach's materialism. Dialectical materialism alleges that material reality, what is tangibly extant, shapes and maintains our consciousness, whilst our consciousness maintains and shapes our perception of that material reality. The dialectical aspect of this also alleges that nothing exists in a vacuum. Everything acts in tandem with one another in some way, however slight. Elements can act in dialectical unity or dialectical contradiction. Historical materialism would suppose that society progresses in epochs: primitive communism, slave society, feudalism, liberalism, socialism, communism, with each epoch defined by its economic base, relations to production and class structure, which shapes and maintains the superstructure, art, politics, ideology, culture, etc., which in turn maintains and shapes the economic base. The reason why this framework is optimal is because it is based on material reality and coherence, on having its elements work in tandem with each other rather than in contradiction. As Lenin says, the doctrine of Marxism is omnipotent because it is true. Here Lenin talks about how Marx, having realised that the superstructure is defined by the material, i.e. economic base, put great attention to understanding and critiquing this political economy of the capitalist economy. He mentions how the theories touched on in Marx's most cohesive work on political economy, capital, such as the labour theory of value and the falling rates of profit, originated from English political economy, from theorists such as David Ricardo and Adam Smith. I have a piece on many of these Marxist critiques that goes much more in depth than this, so go watch that if you're interested. What's not touched on in that video, however, is something that Lenin touches on greatly here, the labour theory of value, remarking that Marx showed that the value of every commodity is determined by the quantity of socially necessary labour time spent on its production. The worker spends one part of his day covering the cost of maintaining himself and his family, wages, whilst the other part of the day he works without remuneration, creating for the capitalist surplus value, the source of profit, the source of wealth for the capitalist class. He also mentions that this theory is the cornerstone of Marxian economics. This pillar is a particular favourite of mine. It is absolutely crucial for every shade of leftist to understand why the capitalist system is an utterly macabre machine of eldritch proportions, driven by an infinite need for profit and growth that supersedes all other concerns, leading to the sharpened exploitations of land and labour. It should be known that socialism is not the invention of Marx and Engels. Rather, the establishment of capitalism's stranglehold over the world was immediately met with a realisation that one system of oppression had been replaced by another. Lenin talks here of the utopian socialists, movements that chastise capitalism such as Charles Fourier's French socialism. That is so hard to say. He remarks that utopian socialism could not indicate the real solution, could not explain the real nature of wage slavery under capitalism, it could not reveal the laws of capitalist development, or show what social force is capable of becoming the creator of a new society. Meanwhile, the stormy revolutions which everywhere in Europe, and especially in France, accompanied the fall of feudalism, of serfdom, more and more clearly revealed the struggle of classes as the basis and the driving force of all development. Lenin states here that the socialism that Marxism is founded upon is based on the history of class struggle, that the different epochs of history are decided by classes struggling against each other. A solution to the issue of capitalism will not come from reform or from voting in compliance with the bourgeois state. It must be done as with prior revolutions, with the victory of the oppressed class and the forming of a class dictatorship. For more on that, I'd recommend the State and the Revolution, though I'd recommend it in general. This is especially crucial in separating Marxism from earlier forms of socialism. Marxism is what brought a scientific, coherent outlook to socialism, one based on the history of class struggle and the need to have, to quote the Communist Manifesto, the proletariat organised as a ruling class. In conclusion, the three sources and three component parts of Marxism is essential in outlining the fundamental pillars of Marxism and the classical theories from which it evolved. It is crucial that Marxists understand the importance of dialectical materialist philosophy that recognises material conditions and how they affect consciousness as well as other aspects of extant reality in tandem with each other. It is crucial that Marxists understand Marxian economics and how the market and private firms function in ways contrary to the interests of the masses. It is crucial that Marxists understand the history of class struggle as the reason we're in this current epoch, and as the way to escape it, with the revolutionary organisation of the people as the ruling class. A quote from Lenin in this piece rings particularly poignant to what end these ideas bring to the workers of the world. Capitalism has triumphed all over the world, but this triumph is only the prelude to the triumph of labour over capital. Thank you for watching. As usual, the transcript is available in the description because I talk too fast. I've also linked the original work by Lenin for you to read on Marxist.org. It's a fantastic archive, so that's also there too. The audio might sound a bit different for this part because I'm recording somewhere else. So apologies if this in the conclusion sound bad. Special thanks to @MaxCP on Twitter for looking over the script. He's a great comrade. I mentioned him before in the video on social parties in the UK. He was very helpful in that. And other than that should be everything. Yep. As always, this has been Labour Media. And remember, Labour conquers all.